Hello, Four Star Nation, and welcome to another Saturday. What is this? April 3rd, 2 days past April Fool's Day. We saw April Fool's jokes everywhere in sports. Some were funny, some were not. But, John, when you look at April Fool's Day, of course, April means baseball season, right? Major League Baseball is back. It got cranked up Thursday. Of course, my Chicago White Sox are looking to be pretty good this year. Not to bloat or, toot my own horn or anything, but we're going to be good. I see John's got the Cardinals beanie on there. I know Bum is a big Cardinals fan. Ray McKetta out in Philly. I know Ray has got to be a Philly fanatic out there.
Indeed, was.
Ray, when you look at Major League Baseball, what is exciting about this time of year?
Well, it's the fans coming out because of the fact that we didn't have that last year, and we only had a couple months of baseball instead of the entire season. So I was happy to see fans at Citizens Bank Park as well as other ballparks around the nation.
Very good point, Ray. John, what about you, man? When you look at Major League Baseball, what has you excited?
A lot of home runs early on in the season by certain people early on in the season. Like for example, we've already seen a lot of high scoring games between the Texas Rangers and the Kansas City Royals. First game was 14-10. It was 5-5 after the first inning. Shout out to Mark Healy and the Kansas City Royals fan base. One of my best friends, a Kansas City fan. But yeah, just like a lot of home runs early on by a lot of players, high scoring affairs. Almost had no hitter for one pitcher yesterday, but he broke it up in the sixth inning with the Colorado Rockies, breaking up Trevor Bauer's no hitter in the sixth inning. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, tight races. Of course, the NL East with Ravens, Phillies. It's always a dogfight every year, which we'll talk about our predictions later on.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's going to be fun to watch this year. A lot of people are going to be saying, all right, Fernando Tatis Jr., for the 10-year contract that he signed in the offseason for what was it, like 400 million? It felt like 500 billion. But yeah, we'll find out throughout the year. It's gonna be tight races all over the league, hopefully. Which makes exciting
I
baseball to go to
completely
postseason.
agree. Yeah, most definitely. When you look at just the opening day series, of course, the Mets and Nationals had to postpone due to COVID-19 in the Nationals organization. That Mets team is a team that I think may surprise some people this year. They're talented for sure. Me being a White Sox fan, of course, right now we're going against Angels. Won last night. But when you speaking of the Phillies, they're going against my other team, the Atlanta Braves. Speaking of Braves and White Sox, I saw a stat this week. I'm sorry, I was told a stat this week where it was three different guys from California. Max Fried with the Atlanta Braves, Lucas Giolito from the Chicago White Sox, and there was another guy, and I can't remember what the guy's name is. But all three of them, it was the first time in MLB history that three pitchers from the same high school started on opening day. I think that's a very cool stat. And really, Max. Speaking of the Braves, Max Fried is going to be exciting to watch. Ray.
Indeed.
Wow.
Indeed. And a couple
He's
other
going to be good.
on the Phillies organization may make an impact this year. And although we had our opening day game on Thursday, we had a day off on Friday, so rest up before we continue the series against the Braves today. And let me see what the pitching matchup is. It's against Morton versus Zach Wheeler. So it's going to be an interesting matchup there.
Yeah.
I tell you how crazy it is. Also,
yeah, that 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock is
Wes.
going to be a good game today between the Braves and the Phillies. John, when you look at just MLB as a whole, give me a team, and I'll go quote unquote around the horn here. But Give me a team that you think right now most people are not thinking is going to be very good, but think a team that you think might turn out to be pretty good.
Okay, I'll do 2 teams. Maybe Detroit Tigers, maybe because Milky Cabrera is still there. Who I don't know if you saw the video or not. He thought he hit a double when he slid into second base in the snow, but turns out it was a home run in the snow.
Oh my
Detroit
Lord.
Tigers could be one. Yeah, Detroit Tigers could be one, and maybe Baltimore Orioles. I know Baltimore. I know. Maybe Drew Barrett's Baltimore Orioles, but maybe Baltimore because I know Boston ain't the same Boston, but their starting pitcher against the other day shut out Boston pretty good in Fenway, 3-0 in the cold weather. But yeah, maybe Baltimore.
Okay. Ray, what about you, man?
I think that the Phillies may make mine surprising this year. You know, Phillies are projected to be middle of the NL East this year, but I feel that if all the things click, we could be in like second place in the NL East and possibly with a wild card spot. I feel right now that the Braves are the early favorites to win the NL East right now. But in the NL East, anything could happen.
Very true. Very, very true, Ray. I completely agree. Just to give my 2 teams, I think the Orioles. I think a team like Texas, the Rangers are not a bad baseball team, and that baseball stadium they've got is really nice. By the way, haven't been there personally, but I've seen it on TV. Another team, like you said, Ray, the Phillies. I think Phillies, of course, when you look at them, when you look at the Phillies, there's talent there. I mean, what did they lose besides Bryce Harper? I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, the talent is still there. The coaching is still there. The young talent in their minor league system is really where I think the Phillies are a team to look out for in the future because they're just stockpiling in their minor league system. The Phillies are a team that I completely agree with. I think by the end of this long season, because we're in a full season this year. This isn't that little 60-game race. This is a full season, which is what a lot of people are not thinking about. But obviously, the Braves, I think, are the best team in the NL East. I think they're one of the best. I mean, they are one of the best teams in the National League. But the Philadelphia Phillies are going to give them a run, and I think everybody knows it. John, when you look at each of the divisions in the American League and in the National League, give me your division winners.
Well, first of all, I want to say also, what about the Kansas City Royals, farm system? It showed out early in the spring training, when they were like starting out hot. Like, I think they were like 12 and like 1 at one time. The shows, Kansas City Royals always has a good farm system, and like Omaha Royals, the AAA affiliate, which we've seen here in Memphis, the Arkansas, which you've seen out in your country. They always brought good talent up through their organization as of late. I think the thing about Kansas City is, they just need to get over that hump again, like they win the World Series that one year. And the thing about Kansas City, I think it was like middle relief and a little bit of relief is their problem in the years past, the last couple of years. So if they can get that fixed, look out for the Kansas City Royals also.
They're not going to beat the White Sox, but go ahead.
I throw shade at you. That's all. Okay. NL East. I'll start off the NL East if you want it. Or how do you want to do it?
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, NL East. I'll pick the Braves. What about y'all?
Yeah, Braves too. They used to have too much talent at this point. However, like I mentioned before, the Phillies may make the pressure on the Braves, but ultimately, I think bullpen has been our Achilles heel as of late. of the past few years. So maybe go on to Atlanta this year again.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Braves, they're just stacked, man. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I mean, you got Acuna, you've got Freed, you've got Sandoval, you've got. I mean, just I consider name names. I can name the whole roster. The Braves are good. They're really good. I don't know that anybody can beat them. I think the Phillies have a shot. I think there's some other teams that may have a chance. I mean, not just in their division. There's a few other teams that have a chance. But yeah, I think the Braves walk away with the NL East fairly easily this season, just based purely on talent and how good they are and their cohesiveness, which they've got a great nucleus of. Go ahead.
All right, NL Central, we got the St. Louis Cardinals for me. Although a lot of people could think maybe the second dark horse team could be the Pittsburgh Pirates. You know, look at the Cubs, for example. They got like, for example, they played the Cubs and Pirates. Are going to be interesting in that series this weekend to see. I know it's early on, but Pittsburgh and Chicago could battle it out for that second place spot this year. Although I think Cincinnati Reds could be a surprise team in that Central League this year. So I'll think of Cardinals. Adam Wainwright, too much talent on the base path. Yadier Molina, the all-time great catcher for the Cardinals. I think the key for the Cardinals will be injuries, this year for the Cardinals organization. Hopefully everybody stays healthy for the Cardinals. But yeah, St. Louis is my pick in the Central.
Yeah, so I'm going to pick because the NL Central this year has a few deserving teams to win the NL Central this year. But I give my cap to the Cardinals because of the kind of talent that they have. Chicago is like a little bit off in terms of that, in my opinion, but they can easily finish second and challenge the Cardinals. And Cardinals will win the division, but I feel Chicago will get a playoff spot as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I know Brandon Bumgarner would pick the St. Louis Cardinals. I know he's a huge Cardinals fan. Man, being a White Sox fan, this pick is not popular, but I'm going to pick the Cubs. I think the Cubs are primed to be back in competition for the entire thing, not just their division, but for the entire championship. This Cubs organization, I mean, just look at them. You got Contreras at center. You got Bryant at third. Sorry, you got Rizzo at first. I mean, Baez. I mean, just this team, and you got Jake Arrieta pitching today against a really good Pirates baseball team, like you talked about, John. But give me the Cubs. Give me the Cubs to get the win in their division, the NL Central.
That's like
what you got next, John?
That's like you picking.
I know. Go ahead.
That's like you picking.
No, it's not.
That's like you picking. That's like you picking Tennessee to win the SEC East.
Yeah.
And you're diehard Memphis fan.
No, it's not.
Man.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I didn't pick them to win the World Series. I just picked them to win the NL Central.
But still, no.
Go ahead.
First of all, have you seen? Are you a fan of? I know people are talking about like for the NL Central, maybe with the Cubs, like you just brought up Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo. You don't think it's time for them to give Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant, let them go elsewhere and just build up for the future years to come, do you? Because
I have a buddy, I got a really good buddy that's a huge Cubs fan. Matter of fact, Christian Johnson that's on this show is also a huge Cubs fan. It's his brother that I'm referring to, Drew. Drew and I have had this conversation about Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo. Drew likes them, but at the time he also understands, hey, you've got to let guys like that go to be able to build youth for the future. But I think if you're right now in this season, if you're the Cubs, you hold on to both of them. I mean, let's be honest, there's still talent there with both of those players. A lot of it. I think both of them are impact players to your lineup. Both are great players at their positions on the field, third and first. And those two, I mean, that's just I think the Cubs will hang on to them this season. Moving forward after this season, I don't know. It wouldn't shock me if they didn't make a move. But for this year, currently, I mean, unless things just go hard throughout the year, I think the Cubs will maintain Rizzo and Bryant throughout the entire year. What about you, Ray?
Yeah, I feel the same thing too. If the Cubs, for some reason, self-explode and finish bottom NL Central, they may want to do something at the trade deadline for both of them. But I feel that Rizzo and Chris Bryant are staying for the year. Beyond this year, I don't know.
Yeah. All right, for the NL West, the LA Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw, I know he struggled against the Rockies the first game of the year, but Clayton Kershaw always has those first game, struggles. David Price, who didn't play last year due to COVID, is back on that roster for the LA Dodgers. So it'll be interesting on how the Dodger system uses David Price this year. Are they going to use him as a middle relief like they did in the playoffs? Or are they going to use him as a starter again? Of course, you got Mookie Betts at center field. I've always been a fan of watching Mookie Betts from the Boston days. Of course, we got Beard, Mr. Turner over there, whom everybody made a big deal of him kissing his wife last year with COVID in the playoffs. Another dark horse that could win that West is maybe the San Diego Padres, like we just talked about with Fernando Tatis Jr. Could surprise some people in the San Diego Padres. But yeah, I got the Dodgers though winning the West. The Rockies, as I have family in Colorado, I've always been asked that question regarding the Rockies. But the thing is about the Rockies, they're starting pitching and the altitude can only do so much for you. So, but yeah, I get the Dodgers winning the West.
Yes, John, I totally agree with you.
Agree. I think the Dodgers win that easily. I don't think there's any team in the. I don't think there's too many teams in the National League besides Braves, Cubs, maybe just a couple more that can really compete with the Dodgers. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, so give me the Dodgers to win a division in the NL West. I think the dark horse for this year will be the San Diego Padres due to the momentum they had last year. And I think they can really build on that and challenge the Dodgers for an NL West spot. But right now, as it stands looking right now, I'm feeling the Dodgers will win the NL West this year.
And also about the Padres, it kind of helps them when they got they always talk about San Diego and the Mets are the easiest ballparks to hit home runs in. So it'll be definitely interesting to see how much home runs San Diego Padres actually have this year in their home ballpark. Let's go with the American League now, guys. American League East. Man, the Yankees looked bad their first game against Toronto. Stanton, Judge, and gosh, another player that my mom went blank on. But went for 1 for 12 in their first few games, or the first game against the Blue Jays, where the Blue Jays looked pretty good on pitching, in that matchup. AL East is kind of, I guess it really depends on if the Yankees stay healthy or not. But I guess I'll go with the New York Yankees winning the AL East because they do got Aaron Judge. They do got some decent pitching. AL East Yankees, I guess.
Yeah, the key thing in the AL East is if the Yankees are healthy, they'll win the division. But if they're not, that opens the door for Tampa Bay or even Toronto or any team in the AL East. Think besides either Boston or Baltimore. who can win a division if the Yankees do not stay healthy throughout the season. But given the current thing right now, still early in the season, but I'm feeling that the Yankees may pull this out in the AL East this year.
It's going to be interesting to see if the Yankees can remain healthy throughout this entire long season. I mean,
Yes.
the Yankees really couldn't stay healthy for last season, and it was short. Now, I
Brutal.
understand COVID and all that. I get it. But if they can't, I don't think they can do it. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. I think the team in the AL East to beat is the Tampa Bay Rays. That Tampa Bay team was fun to watch last year. They're gritty. They play a different style of ball, kind of small ball a little bit, at least in the games I watched last season of them. But give me the Rays to get the win in the AL East this year. I think after their performance coming off last year, obviously we know how good they were. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays, John.
That was kind of my second team to look out for the AL East, but because their starting pitching looked great so far, shutting out Miami Marlins the first game, and then the second game yesterday, they held Miami through 6 innings pretty much intact again. I know Miami has Derek Jeter as their president, but AL Central. Oh gosh, I guess your White Sox, Wes, because I don't see anybody else right now that could maybe compete with them other than maybe a dark horse in Kansas City, like we talked with their farm system. Minnesota Twins, they got a nice ballpark, in Target Field. And then Detroit Tigers, they got Mickey Cabrera still. But yeah, I got your White Sox.
Same, Wes. White Sox this year, the best in the AL Central this year. But I watch out for the Kansas City Royals, too, to make an impact. But ultimately, White Sox.
Well, Four-Star Nation, it's time to pick the AL Central. I'm going to go with the best team in the AL Central, which is the Chicago White Sox. This White Sox team is going to be fun to watch. Giolito made Mike Trout look absolutely filthy on a changeup the other night that was just unhittable. It was just beautiful to watch. When you look at this White Sox team, John, I mean, let's be honest, man. They're lit. I mean, we got Lance Lynn going today. Eaton is already getting off on a hot start. Abreu's playing well. I mean, it's just going to be a fun special season, I think, for this White Sox organization. Here's another thing, John. We haven't talked about this. Tony La Russa is back in baseball, and he's wearing black and white for the Chicago White Sox.
Wow.
Tony La Russa is back as the manager of the Chicago White Sox.
Wait a minute, he still has a job?
I do know this. Yeah, man, he's still got the job. Throwing little. All right, now you're throwing some hard shade there. But
got to. It's baseball season.
I understand, man. I understand. But when you look at Tony La Russa, of course, he's been out of the game for it. That's a little bit concerning. The fact that he's been out of the game, away from the game, and just how much the game really has evolved. I mean, let's be honest. Over the past 5 years, how much has the game of baseball changed? Not just not the game itself, but how you manage the game. Pitching, field. I mean, just numerous different things. That is kind of a concern for me as a White Sox fan. It's just how will Tony evolve? Because I don't know that Tony evolves. I mean, does that make any sense? What I'm saying, Ray?
Yeah, does a little bit of his old school versus what we have in place now. It takes time getting used to.
Right.
For example, in extra
Right.
inning games, you start with a runner on second now.
I don't want to talk about that. I don't
That's
like
so
it
weird
though.
to me.
But
It is
I don't
weird.
like it. It's like it's like college softball when there's a time limit, for travel. I'm not a big fan of it. They can fly out later. It's okay. But yeah, international rule for extra innings is a disaster. No, I don't like it.
I don't understand why it was made. I mean, why the change was made.
Yeah.
We're gonna we're gonna shorten the game due to the fact because of time or whatever. We gotta let the players rest for the next day or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love these 18 inning games. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
I love watching baseball for 6 hours and
I mean, I don't know about 18. It's a lot going on there. But I mean, I don't mind a good 12 inning good pitching duel, that type of thing. When you look at this baseball season, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. But go ahead, John. What do we got next?
the AL West. I guess we'll go with the AL West next. Gosh, the Cheaters are 2-0. Trash cans. They're using trash cans already, I guess, in Houston. Gosh. AL West. It's one of the toughest divisions to pick because although like Houston's got their pitching with Justin Verlander and Zach Greinke looked pretty good the first game against Oakland. I don't want to pick the Cheaters, but I guess I'll pick the Cheaters in Houston.
Well, I see a lot of good teams here in the West. It's tough right now to pick one right now for the AL West. But I'm feeling either the Angels, Mariners, or Rangers. If they remain healthy, they can challenge the Houston Astros for the number one spot in the AL West. But I feel that the underdog may win the division this year because of the fallout from the Astros scandal. So I would say Los Angeles Angels may win the AL West this year.
I brought it up earlier when we were talking about teams that may surprise you. I mentioned the Texas Rangers, and I think the Texas Rangers have a chance, if they can stay healthy, to overcome their fellow Texas mate in the Houston Astros. I'm sorry. I think they could overcome them, and just like you said, Ray, there's going to be punishment for the Astros. We already know this. But give me the Texas Rangers. I'm excited to see. I'm kind of excited to watch them this baseball season. I think that's going to be a little fun too. Being down here in South Arkansas, I get them as the home team. So I'm very, very fond of that team. Of course, George Bush was involved with them. Of course, the great Nolan Ryan was involved with them as well. It's going to be fun to watch them. Brand new stadium. I think the Rangers, if healthy, can make a nice little surprising run this season and keep the Astros out of the playoffs. Go ahead, John.
That's all of them for our picks regarding each division. But it'll be interesting who wins each division for our listeners. Okay, we talked about this before the show started. Past or present, you can name 3 jerseys that you would buy right now on the MLB Shop website or Fanatics or wherever you buy your jerseys. So, top 3 jerseys of all time, past or present, that you would buy right now, like player-wise.
Yeah, but I got 1 historical. I got 2 in the current time. One of them is Bryce Harper. Another one comes from the Yankees and Aaron Judge. And then my historical jersey from Michael Jack Schmidt.
Who?
Michael Schmidt. He was a third baseman for the Phillies when they won their first time.
Okay. Nice.
Yep.
Mine, I mean, I've always wanted one. I've never had one. Two of my jerseys are going to be White Sox. Shocker, I know. One of which is the black Chicago White Sox jersey with the number 35 on it, and on the back it says Frank Thomas for the Big Hurt. I always wanted a Big Hurt jersey, black jersey. I don't know. I just always wanted one, man. Second jersey is the Bo Jackson classic Chicago White Sox jersey. To me, that is just an iconic jersey. That's just good looking. And then I want a Atlanta Braves Max Fried jersey. I just like the young man. I think he is the future of not only that organization but the Major League Baseball as a whole. So most definitely, John. Speaking of jerseys, I know you and I for sure. I mean, I still play it, but MLB The Show is a great baseball game.
Can I see my jerseys?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Here, since y'all went with a little bit of present, I'll go with the old school jerseys then, or old school players, since y'all brought up some present players. Our first one will be, we're going to talk about this in a few minutes regarding the video games, but Ken Griffey Jr. Seattle Mariners jersey. Number two would be.
All right, hold on. Do you want the throwback version of that jersey, or do you want the new version of that jersey? I like the throwback
really
myself.
Matter.
Go ahead.
I like both.
Okay.
The second one would be a Jackie Robinson, number 42, Brooklyn Dodger jersey. Shout out to the movie 42. Third one would be. That's where it was kind of like you said, you got Frank Thomas because we used to play his video game back in the day as well, Wes, with the Big Hurt baseball game. The third one would probably be a purple Colorado Rockies, either Todd Helton or Larry Walker jersey from the Colorado Rockies organization. So, although
I'd have to say Larry Walker.
Yeah, Todd Helton played at Tennessee, but hey, he was a good first baseman, for the Rockies. But so I enjoyed watching them growing up. And that's one reason. I've enjoyed going to visit family and look at the Colorado Rockies, going to baseball games because of them. Growing up, I enjoyed watching them. So those are my top three jersey sales, or that jerseys that I would buy from the present or from the past players that I enjoyed watching growing up.
Yeah, one of our viewers on YouTube saying Pete Rose in a Reds jersey. I didn't think of Pete Rose before when I list.
Most definitely. Once again, thank you to everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Right, Eric Edwards just chimed in. Michael Posey chimed in earlier on Facebook. Currently, we've got someone watching on Twitch as well. If you're watching on Twitch, be sure and comment. Let us know that you're watching. Know that you're enjoying the show, and if you're not, tell us that you don't enjoy it. Thank you once again. Also, I was just getting ready to say, Ray. Also, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we are on both as well. Also, check out the website 4 Star Sports Show Live.com. We're on there as well. Thank you to everybody watching and listening today. Today, April 3rd edition of the show. John, let's talk some video games, man, and then we'll get over into a little talk about the Final Four, and then we got some big coaching news to talk about today to wrap the show up. Go ahead, John.
How many do you want to do? Like 2 or 3, just to name a few?
Let's just do a couple. Yeah.
Okay. So, baseball, I'll let Ray go first.
Yeah, so MLB The Show is my favorite game currently in terms of how the layout is, how you actually can control the bat. Everything's in your control, basically, when you're throwing, pitching, and also when you hit the ball as well. So really like that game. I haven't not played this year's version yet.
Hasn't been out yet.
Hasn't been out yet.
Yeah.
Of course. But when it does, I'll keep my eyes peeled and all that.
You know, Ray, you talk about MLB The Show real quick. I miss what you can do is like on a regular schedule based. You can play like your AAA baseball game, your AA baseball game, your single A baseball game, and then your regular season game as the baseball team in general that you're using. And then you can move players around, you know, throughout your roster on that.
Yeah.
I wish that then MLB The Show can basically charge the mound. You know, that'd be pretty cool.
Mhm.
If you get hit,
You
know,
used
you
to
charge
could.
the mound.
They actually took it out. You used to do that. They actually took it
Yeah.
out. After you got beamed, I believe it was twice in the same game, and it would give you an option to charge the mound or not. And
Right.
of course, if you charge the mound, you got ejected. But yeah, when you look at MLB The Show, I think, and of course, as a PlayStation user, I'm privy to it because I'm a PlayStation guy. But I love that game. I wish that they would branch it out to not just PlayStation only. I understand the main concept of it. I understand it's specifically for PlayStation. I get that, but as an Xbox player as well, I think Xbox users would love that game. Xbox users are clamoring for a good MLB baseball game. Now they re-brought out RBI baseball. Of course, as a avid sports video gamer, I love the old classic RBI baseball game. It was just a lot of fun. It was at that time it was new. But another game that I really enjoyed, and speaking of PlayStation, it was on PlayStation 2, was the college version of MLB, and it was NCAA baseball 2006. This was a great baseball game. The
Or
graphics
7.
were awesome. Or 7, either one. 06, 07, either one. Both were good. Man, you could switch back and forth between a wooden bat and a aluminum bat. I mean, it was just the sound of that tink, that aluminum bat was just great. That was a great baseball game as well.
It was hard though, but yeah, it was pretty good. But another thing about MLB
It
The
was,
Show,
but
you
it was
know,
fun.
I just was, you know, you said you could charge them out, but they wouldn't show actually what happened when they charged them out in that video game. But my games,
Right.
you know, I'm gonna do old school again, guys, because y'all took MLB The Show already. So I'm gonna do a little bit of old school. Super Nintendo, Wes. Here we go. Ken Griffey Jr. baseball. When the guy used to break his
Great
bat, when the guy used to strike out, you know, and say, "Oh, come on," to the umpire, you know, and break his bat.
Yep.
Those were the days for that, which I kind of wish I still had a Super Nintendo because I would be playing it right now. Baseball Tonight was pretty fun because it was kind of like the NFL 2K5 version on PlayStation 2. You know, when they had Chris Berman do the recap on baseball or football games after the game got over. So Baseball Tonight on Super Nintendo was pretty fun because you had Chris Berman doing back, gone. You know, that type of deal. Here's another one. MLB Slugfest. You know, when they basically could punch the player and get him off the bag to get it out. You remember that game back in the day?
Oh,
So
yeah.
it kind of reminded me of NFL Blitz.
Mm-hmm. Here's another one that I just thought about. Honorable mention: Frank Thomas. What about, remember Big Hurt Baseball? Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball. That was a great video game. That was a great game. Yeah, it was a great game. But yeah, you know, the MLB season is here. It's been a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a long season again, guys. So we got to get ready for that. But John, when you look at everything going on right now, this is a great time of year. Of course, you got MLB baseball starting up. Minor league baseball will be kicking off here shortly, next month or so. But we are beginning baseball, but we're wrapping up college basketball. Now, at 11 o'clock today, we're going to Omar Sneed, former Memphis Tiger, played a little bit overseas as well. We're going to have him on to talk a little bit about to break it all down, the NCAA tournament. Also talk with him about what he's got going on after his life as a Memphis Tiger. But I do want to touch on a little bit of that this morning as well for all of our fans watching. The Final Four is now upon us. What a crazy, crazy NCAA basketball tournament this has been. John, let's just give a brief little preview of the Final Four.
Well, you saw where the first four UCLA has advanced to the Final Four and is playing Gonzaga today. American team Houston is playing Baylor. So that'll be a kind of an interesting game in general regarding both teams like to shoot the deep ball for both teams in that one. I saw we're on Daily Wager yesterday. They're talking about like this game could be close down to the wire going into the second half, maybe till like the last minute. The key for Houston is, like we talked about in their previous shows, Wes, they got to make the 3-point ball. They got to make the free throws. And they got to keep crashing the offensive rebounds on the offensive rebounds because they do so well at it. They average what it seems like 15 a game on the offensive rebounds. So not to get my Final Four picks yet because I'm sure we'll probably do that with Omar. And we'll let Ray do his winner since he won't be on for work. But, yeah, those are UCLA. Hey, Mick Cronin, man, his defense comes alive whenever, in the postseason. So not to spoil anything, but it'll be an interesting day starting at 4 o'clock Central Time.
Indeed, yeah. So looking at this Final Four, I see we have Gonzaga and UCLA, the other part of the Final Four. UCLA has really surprised a lot of people. When Alabama faced UCLA, I thought there's no way UCLA can beat Alabama, but they proved us wrong. So it's going to be a dogfight with Gonzaga. We all know that Gonzaga is chasing history. They could become the first team ever since 1976 to finish the season undefeated and win the national championship. They're 2 wins away from doing that. Gonzaga will win today against UCLA by more than 10 points. If they continue the more dominance that they
Ray
have.
said that. You did that with a little bit of cockiness, Ray. You put a little bit of cockiness behind that.
Wow.
At first I wasn't sold on Gonzaga going all the way, but now I am.
I think we know who the other Gonzaga guy is on our selection, or not our ESPN, not ESPN, but our bracket challenge that we do. I think we know.
Yeah, and also the
Wait, hold on a second. Whoa. Hold on a second, Ray. Are you the other guy bracket challenge? Are you Whack-A-Mole?
No. I did mine on paper this year.
Okay.
Hey,
I just wanted to.
Whoever can, hey,
There's some guy in our show bracket challenge that is Whack-A-Mole, and I don't know who it is. And if you're Whack-A-Mole and you're watching this right now, just comment and say, I'm the mole, because we want to know. But I completely agree, Ray. Gonzaga's tough, man. Gonzaga is good. But go ahead.
Yeah, so the other side, Texas and Baylor and Houston. Scroll down Texas right there. Yeah, as John mentioned before, Houston has to hit the threes, make sure they get their offensive rebounds, but it's going to come down to the route wire. Baylor will win it. It'll be Gonzaga and Baylor on Monday.
Which will be definitely a good game to watch because I was looking forward to that game. We were doing our show actually when they broke the news that it got canceled because of COVID. We were actually doing our show during that time, and I'm like, because the game was like an hour before our during our show. The game was supposed to start like at 11 or 12 o'clock. I forgot which one, But they broke the news on our show because Gonzaga was supposed to play Baylor in a non-conference matchup,
Yeah.
this year. So maybe it's meant to be this year that they play each other for the national title. I think
Definitely.
I also
May very well be.
Ray, real quick. I was gonna say in that Houston game, Corey Grimes could be the difference maker in that game. For
Definitely.
Houston as well,
Definitely.
because whenever Houston is like within like 2 or 3 points, bang, he ties it up somehow on a 3-point shot or even a 2-point shot that nobody would think he would make. But Corey Grimes will be the difference maker in that Houston Baylor matchup.
Definitely so.
All right, when you look at this Houston Baylor matchup, first off, I'm just going to come on out and say it. Houston's had the easiest path this Final Four than any other team in it. I don't think anybody here will argue with that point. But if you're Houston, I'm not impressed with them, John. The reason you're getting so many offensive rebounds is because you're missing that many shots. I mean, they're jacking up from everywhere. They're not shooting all that great. If you go back and look at their stats for this tournament, in each of these games they played in, they really have not shot all that well. Now, yeah, they're an offensive rebounding team incredibly, but watching Baylor play the other night against Arkansas, Baylor is really, really good. That little white boy with the I don't know what his name is, but boy, he is wet from everywhere on the court. He is drilling it. I mean, it's just Baylor is an older basketball team. They're a little more seasoned, same as Gonzaga. Baylor's going to, I'm not trying to spoil it, but I think Baylor gets the win. And then as far as Gonzaga, UCLA, man, I love what Mick Cronin has done with this UCLA team. Let's keep something in mind, guys. Mick Cronin was not UCLA's first choice. Mick Cronin was about the 6th before they finally just said, okay, here, you can have it. You can do it. But if you look at this Mick Cronin team, same as when he was at Cincinnati, they're gritty, man. They're physical. They grind. They just grind you out. No matter how many points they're down, they're never out of the game. That Gonzaga UCLA game, Gonzaga's chasing Wooden's ghost. Gonzaga's chasing that undefeated ghost that everybody wants. Can they do it? I don't know. I think they got a good chance.
Now, if we were like a betting person, on a FanDuel, whatever, the point spreads for those games are like -5 or +5 for Houston to cover the game, and then UCLA's underdog about 14. I think Baylor's got a better shot to cover than Gonzaga does, if I had to guess.
Maybe. John, speaking of college basketball, speaking of Mark Few, Roy Williams
ain't going nowhere.
Shocked the world this year. Roy Williams shocked the world on April 1st and retired after 33 years of coaching at age 70. Legendary coach. He did legendary things at Kansas. He won national championships at North Carolina. This is probably not going to be a popular opinion, but I don't consider him to be a legendary coach at North Carolina because he walked into a tailor-made program that was already good. Now, what he did at Kansas was legendary. What he did at Kansas was he made them a name. I give him. I'm not taking anything from the man. The man did something that I could never do. He is a legendary coach. I don't think he did legendary things at North Carolina. But anyway, just when you look at this North Carolina job, it's now come open. Of course, you got Hubert Davis, a assistant that's been with him since 2010, I believe, on that North Carolina staff. That's who I believe already will be the next North Carolina head coach. Yeah, I believe. I mean, think about it. Roy Williams has been there since 2003. That's a long time. Let's not fool ourselves here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying. I think a guy like Hubert Davis, I think will be head coach. They have come out and said they want a Carolina guy, and I think that's it. But with that being said, John, give me, and Ray as well, give me a surprise name.
Michael Jordan.
Go ahead, Ray.
If I
believe
That would
I can
shock
fly.
me.
if I hear Nate Oates' name with associated with the North Carolina, I'm like, are you crazy? Because Nate Oates has.
No, they're not. He's a good coach.
Why would you go to North Carolina? But Nate Oates has alleged his allegiance to Alabama and what they have going on, and it's very hard for him to jump ship all of a sudden. As of right now, he's staying in Alabama, but they may go after the Arkansas coach Eric Musselman.
Nope. They've already. I hate to shoot that rumor down, right? But Yurachek's already come out and said he's being paid. They just got to dot some I's, cross some T's, but he's done. He's staying in Arkansas.
Good.
And Musselman came out and said on Twitter, I have two bosses, Hunter and Danielle. Danielle being his wife, and both of them. He said, and both agree with me. We have something special here in Fayetteville. He's not going anywhere. I firmly believe Eric Musselman loves being on the hill, and he knows that he can build something really powerful at the University of Arkansas, as well as Nate Oates. Very, very similar situation with both coaches. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah. So filling in Roy Williams' shoes will be a tough one to fill.
It's going to be very hard.
I thought it was an April Fool joke, to be honest with you, when he, announced his retirement. I'm not going to lie. I really thought it was. But, I'm going to go with the dark horse name. You might be surprised by this, Wes. It might fall out of a chair on this one. But Jerry Stackhouse. I know, he hasn't done much at Vanderbilt.
That's really not a dark horse name, though. I mean, Jerry played at North Carolina. I mean, he is a North Carolina guy. Another name
when I say
that
dark horse,
I've thrown out, which people think I'm crazy. What about John Calipari?
No,
he's from North Carolina.
No,
he told Memphis when he took the job there was two jobs. There was two jobs he would leave for: Kentucky, North Carolina. Kentucky came up left. North Carolina was not open at that point in time. North Carolina's open now.
Man, I don't see it. I really don't.
I got y'all thinking. I can tell by both y'all's faces. I got y'all thinking.
The reason I say dark horse is just because the way he's kind of. I thought Vanderbilt would be better under Jerry Stackhouse. In general. I know Scottie Pippen Jr. has lighted up the last 2 years, but I thought Vanderbilt would be better under Jerry Stackhouse. I really do. I really did because, they're showing progression, but they're not getting over the win hump, if that makes sense. That's one reason I think Jerry Stackhouse could be a dark horse, be a head coach at North Carolina. Regarding Roy Williams, I just want to say a quick story regarding Roy Williams. I was at a high school basketball game back in the day when Bartlett High School played Briarcrest with Coach Harrington. And Leslie McDonald was on that roster at Briarcrest. And, of course, between Memphis and North Carolina is when Leslie McDonald, Wes, was getting recruited by those two schools. John Calipari versus Roy Williams. Roy Williams, of course, was already in attendance, signing autographs, for these fans and whatnot and talking to fans. Where John Calipari shows up and says to the person that's taking money at the gate, I'm here to watch Leslie McDonald. I should be on the name on the list or whatever. And Calipari's like, I'm not paying to get in. For a high school basketball game, it's only $5 to watch it. Roy Williams had no problem paying to get in. He was talking to people during the game and after the game, signing autographs, talking to kids. Where Calipari left at halftime because he did not like how people were going up to him and asking for autographs and whatever during the basketball game, or even taking photos with him or whatever. I know he's trying to watch a game, but he was complaining about the money getting into the game where Roy Williams had no problem whatsoever. And that's where I applaud Roy Williams. I enjoyed watching Roy Williams coach at North Carolina and at Kansas growing up. For example, when the North Carolina came here for the regional, I enjoyed that with Roy Williams, watching him face, on that sideline, coaching the FedEx Forum. That's what I'm going to miss about Roy Williams.
Man, what I'll miss about Roy is just his passion on the sidelines. But not only his passion on the sidelines for the game going on right then, but his passion for his players sitting behind him and sitting next to him, and his assistant coaches. If you really go back and watch Roy Williams and look at him as a coach on the sidelines, he'll get on your butt when you screw up, but he's going to love you at the end of the day. And that's where Roy Williams' lasting impact on the game of basketball, I think, will go the farthest, is because it not only has the impact on the young men that he's coached as far as basketball is concerned, but also in their life as well. And I think you look at a guy like Hubert Davis, who has come back, who has, gotten back in the fold of North Carolina, and really Roy has taken him under his wing. I honestly believe he's the next head basketball coach, and it wouldn't shock me if we didn't hear something coming up pretty shortly. John, when you look at the other,
yeah, I was saying we're all surprised
when you look at the other,
yeah,
that I was just about to say. When you look at the other one, it's Texas. Shaka Smart, as we know, took the job at Marquette, which was shocking to me. But when you look at Texas, man, they just don't. Money is not an option. I mean, money's not a problem for them. They just go get who they want when they want to go get them. We saw that with the Tom Herman exit and then the Steve Sarkisian entrance in football. Now you see Shaka Smart walk away and go to Marquette. And if I remember correctly, they paid Shaka Smart a pretty good bit of money. Now you bring in Chris Beard, Texas Tech, into the Sweet 16, lost to Arkansas in a very good basketball game. But Texas now gets their man, and he gets to come back home and coach at Texas. I think he'll do good things at Texas. I like Chris Beard a lot, former Arkansas Little Rock head coach as well. Very, very good coach.
Yeah, I like the hire for Texas as well. Chris Beard at first was going to take the UNLV job. If you remember that saga where he was going to take that job and then ended up going to Texas Tech. But yeah, Chris Beard, he's won everywhere he's been. So Texas, like you said, Wes, has a lot of money, and their alumni. If you're not happy, you need to go after the guy that's actually winning and basically winning big. And Chris Beard has showed it at Texas Tech by going to Sweet 16. I know they lost never mind. They didn't lose to Abilene Christian. That was Texas. But yeah, so that'll be fun to watch with Chris Beard going to Texas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. So when I heard that Shaka Smart from Texas was going to Marquette, I was surprised as well. But I thought I saw another underlying reason between that, because I think they were trying to push to part ways with him, but Marquette found out and got him on, and all of that. And Chris Beard coming into Texas was a good option as well, in the fact that he can use the players that he has and then start to have his recruiting style in order to be a successful Big 12 power in basketball. Again.
Yeah, and another thing with Shaka Smart is this. When you go to a school like Marquette, you don't have to worry about a football program like the one they have at Texas, and you have to compete with that. That's the pressure that's now off of Shaka, like when he was at VCU, that pressure is now off Shaka Smart. He can really motivate, and that becomes the focal point of their athletics. Is Shaka Smart is our basketball coach.
Yeah, definitely. Hey guys, Oklahoma made a move after the retirement. After the retirement of the previous coach, Port Moser from Loyola Chicago got hired to be the head coach of Oklahoma.
I broke that news to John yesterday. John did not know that. I broke the news to John.
Wes woke me up on that
that's
one.
a
like,
very.
what?
I mean, I don't think that's a very surprising move, though. You look at, of course, Lon Kruger was was just legendary, great coach at Oklahoma. But when you look at Mosher, the difference is now he can't be. He's not hiding in the shadows anymore. At Loyola Chicago, you could sneak up on people. You can't sneak up on anybody anymore. You're at Oklahoma. The eyes are on you. The eyes of the nation are now on you. The eyes of the Big 12 for sure are now on you. And then I'm not using a Texas joke. No. But then speaking of Texas, then you bring in Chris Beard to Texas. That Texas-Oklahoma rivalry just got better, I think. Nothing against Shaka Smart and Kruger, but now you bring in Chris Beard and you bring in Mosher, and that's going to be fun to watch. That's a nice move by Oklahoma. Really do like the hire by them a lot. I think that's a very good hire.
And
also another name.
Go ahead, Ray. What were you saying about Loyola Chicago?
They already found their replacement.
Oh, one of their assistant coaches.
Oh, really? I didn't realize they'd already found one.
For Valentine.
Oh, okay.
They promoted from within.
When you, another name that I think we need to look out for is Billy Donovan. I think he could work his way back into the NCAA. A school like North Carolina might be pretty privy to reach out to Billy Donovan. Let's think about something. Billy Donovan is right at about 50, which is roughly the same age that Roy Williams was when he took the North Carolina job. So he's still got some years ahead of him. That's another name that I think may surprise some people at North Carolina if they end up doing it.
Well, since you're bringing up an NBA coach right now, hang on. Since you're bringing up an NBA coach right now, what about Brad Stevens? You know, a lot of people maybe are not seeing Brad Stevens leave Boston Celtics unless he gets fired. But look out for Brad Stevens as a hot commodity as well. But I want to give some women's basketball some love real quick before we wrap it up or whatever. Let's give congratulations to Stanford and congratulations to Arizona on making the women's championship on Easter Sunday. So kudos to them for tomorrow.
Yeah,
that'll be an interesting matchup. Yeah, real quick regarding that, I just want to say kudos to them as well. Congratulations to both teams on that one.
Yeah, most definitely. That's going to be an exciting national championship tomorrow for the women's Pac-12. Well, I'll tell you what, man, Pac-12 is getting some love in these two NCAA tournaments out of it. And there's 3 teams out of the 4 from the Pac-12 on the men's side of it. So I know that Bill Walton is just loving this right now. He's a 12 homer weirdo. All right, look, we've had a great show today, guys. Thank you to everybody watching. Everyone on Facebook, Twitch, you listening on Apple Podcasts, listening on Spotify Podcasts as well. Thank you to John Sturdivant. Thank you to Raymond McKetta. For everyone here at the 4-Star Sports Show, thank you for watching. It's been another great show. We will be back in roughly 20 minutes for a quick little interview with Omar